My name is Alondo Fuentes, class of 2021, Syracuse commit, Cardinal Hayes High School, and you're watching Off the Grid.
Yeah, Off the Grid, stand up. SBC, Black Elvis, Roddy, OG, it's wavy. Look, started from the bottom, so we off the grid. Tryna make it to the top, we soon live off the grid. Had dreams of making teams, I was just a kid. But we off the grid, yeah, we off the grid. On the come up, so we off the grid. Had dreams of the league, we was all just kids. And the bullets from the underground, they often miss. The podcast bringing light, so they don't call it quits. Now pass the rock, I'm open on the 10. They call me wavy in the red zone for the win. Then do your dance on them, raise the roof, we got the fans roaring. Catch a pick and then do it again.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the 12th episode of Off the Grid. I'm your host, the commish, along with my boys, D-Dub and Roddy. What's good, fellas?
Doing great. Great weather outside.
Yes,
feeling
good
great.
Day. Sun is out. Football has started.
It has.
Some places.
For some, for most, but you know, everybody's still trying to figure out their situations and how they're going to be able to play for their seasons. What do you think?
It's tough. I think, we talked back in the fall about guys trying to prepare
7-on-7. That was first combo, 7-on-7.
Yeah, I'm really interested to figure out how are they going to play spring to get looks for fall. That's going to be interesting.
But I think if you got film, then you good money. At that point, once you got your film. But I hear what you're saying too, but you talking from like an enrollment standpoint.
And that and a public school standpoint. I'm a public school kid. So right now they're not doing nothing.
Well,
but they said they approaching they deadline too.
So here's the thing. We're talking about a couple of different things. It's interesting that you say you a public school kid because people by default, because the Catholic High School League in New York is having a season, think that, Catholic schools are just good. They are right. But there's some
a lot of
Catholic schools
that's not
within the city limits
nothing.
of the 5 boroughs that are still held up.
Schools outside of the boroughs that's not doing nothing too. So it's not just. But I think for me it's just like figuring out what's happening. Like it's disheartening to like go 5 minutes away or like 10, 15, 30 minutes away, and they're playing football, but we come right back here. And it's like we can't. It's got to be something to put the right things in place for everybody to be able to play at this point. We in the spring. It's about to get too late. Summertime, you can't play around with time like that.
Yeah, and I mean I hear you. I think that's the athlete speaking. The reality is that the decisions get made by the administrative people, and the risk management aspect of this is a real aspect. It's not something that. We've been real critical because clearly kids are suffering as a result of it, but the reality is, how do you make an argument?
Yeah, when people are dying, you just don't want to be that guy with the first kids, set of kids sick under your watch.
I do think it's tough for programs like Christ the King, Cardinal Hayes that are in the city limits and that still have to follow governance decisions made by, the people in those types of positions. Guys prepared and, did what they thought they needed to do. But as it stands right now, if you're not outside of the city limits in like Westchester County, Long Island, it's a little bit tougher to pull it off.
Yeah, well, right now we do have somebody who is playing, Darius. He's playing up at Iona, and we interviewed him a couple of days ago. How did that interview go?
It was great, man. Darius is a dynamic young man. It was great for me to get to have that one-on-one time with him and really hear his personality come out. Really, some people would say he's a quiet, soft-spoken kid, but he gave us quite a bit of conversation in this interview.
Off the Grid.
We're back at it again with Off the Grid. We have the pleasure of bringing in Darius Wilson. Darius is the varsity quarterback at Iona Prep. He is a 2021 class graduate and will be attending William and Mary, playing quarterback as well. So Darius, Ed, I appreciate you guys coming on. And Darius, you had an interesting youth football experience. Talk to us a little bit about how it was playing in an organization that your dad played a major role in. I'm sure at some point being coached by him. What was that experience like being a South Bronx kid and playing football in New York City?
Oh, I say it's a positive experience because I started like going to football games when I was young, so probably like 2, 3 years old. So like I got to see like all the players in like the Bronx Chargers program itself, and like over the years, so I could see all like the talented players that played there. And then so when I started playing, because at first I didn't want to play, but then we started doing like flag football and stuff. I just like got hooked onto it, and then I started playing tackle football, and so it was just a great experience for me to like just to be around football for that long. So like I played quarterback, so I understood everything that was going around me, and just to learn from my dad personally, because like he's in my house, so that's all we talk about all day is football, and just to pick his brain about just like football in general just helped me even now.
So were there any moments that it was kind of challenging to play for your dad? Did people kind of like maybe try to discredit some of your successes and say, oh, you know, his dad is the coach? Was that ever a part of the experience?
I mean, I think so. Like, you know, like there's a stereotype, like the coach's dad, the coach's kid plays quarterback. And so like, I wasn't like the greatest youth football player at the beginning. So like, I feel like there was some of that of like, why is he the quarterback when he's like not that good? But I feel like towards the end of like my youth football career, people like knew who I was and knew how good I was. And I earned that respect that I deserved to be playing that position.
Interesting. So Darius, you know, let's talk a little bit about the educational side of things. Iona Prep is, you know, considered an institution of academia. You know, it's you can't be no powder puff guy in the books if you plan on attending school there. So talk to me about what that experience was, getting acclimated to the study coursework that you had to deal with, and just being in an environment a little bit different than, you know, South Bronx.
Yeah, so as my dad can like attest to, like academics has always been the number one thing about football. That's always been the number one important thing to like get your grades right, or you can't do it. You can't play football. You can't do all the stuff you want to do. So for me, that's always been an important thing. So when going to like high school, when going to Iona Prep, which is a challenging school to be in, I already had like that work ethic to like study hard and to do what I needed to do to be able to have the fun I wanted to with my friends. So going there wasn't that much of an adjustment. It was more of an adjustment wise, probably like culture wise more than academic wise.
Okay, that's good to know. That's a common thing we got from another one of your teammates too. We asked Corday Sidnor, and he had a very similar answer that, you know, the work is the work. And, you know, if you're a good student before you get there, that should pretty much carry over. You've always been a really quiet guy. I could be honest with you. In the last 10 minutes, you said more words to me than you said in the last 4 years. And I mean, I just want to give you an opportunity to kind of dispel some of the myths that might be out there that you just this dude that don't say nothing. You know, let the people know some of the things you're interested in. And as a teenager, you know, what you like to do when you're not playing football.
Yeah, first, like, yeah, I like to say, like, I'm quiet maybe to, like, everybody outside, but, like, on my team, I talk to everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. It can be starter, backup. I feel like I gel well with everybody on our team. I may not be, like, the rah person, but, like, I feel like I'm a good communicator for everybody on our team, like, whether offense, defense, special teams. So I feel like I lead better in that way than, like, being, like, the super loud rah guy yelling. I'm more of, like, a teacher maybe on the field, like coach on the field, like as a quarterback. But then like off the field, I like to do what every other kid likes to do, you know, play video games with my friends, Xbox, PlayStation, doesn't really matter. And then, you know, I like to watch like anime, like, you know, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, all those. And then, you know, sometimes I like to cook. It doesn't really matter what that is. But yeah, that's basically it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So I sent you and your dad a video earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I want us to kind of like talk through what happens in the play. I'll set it up a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what the score is at this point in the game, but it's 1st and 10. You're on the team's 29-yard line. You get your pre-snap read. Walk us through the play.
Yeah, so that play we ran is called an RPO, so run pass option. So it's either my decision to either give the ball to the running back and make it a run play, or keep it and drop back and make it a pass play. So, but the read was to give it to the running back, but what I saw the defense gave me, I knew that I would have Alex on that deep post if I held him long enough, and I was willing to take a hit. And that's what I'm willing to do, take a hit from the team to score that touchdown instead of getting that 5-yard run, which is also good, but we know we all rather have a touchdown. So that's what I did, right, got through my read, dropped back, held it for a second, saw Alex coming across the middle, and just put it where only he could get it.
So for all of the quarterbacks who may be watching, guys that think they want to play quarterback on the next level, on the high school level, at what point do you realize, well, I know he's going to come open, but I'm also about to get my clock clean? So, what's going through your mind at that point in the play?
The score, like, that doesn't matter. Like, getting hit, it only is going to hurt if you don't score. That's the only point.
Which leads me up to my last part of the question. So, Mr. Williams bobbles the ball a little bit, cleans it up, gets into the end zone. Talk to me about what kind of conversation you two have in the locker room if he drops that.
We're definitely gonna laugh about it, but like I'm gonna be a little salty about it because I took the hit for him, and that, you gotta catch it if I'm gonna take the hit for you. But I still would have went to him because that's my guy. I trust him to make any type of catch. But it would have been a funny story to tell.
I'm sure. Your thoughts about the College of William and Mary, why you like it as a fit for you, and some of the things that you want to do in your adult life that going to College of William and Mary is going to better prepare you to do.
Yeah, so I picked William and Mary personally for me because it fit like all the things I wanted personally. So had a great football community, which means like the support system from the community around the college was really big, and they had a great presence, had a great academics, great football. Is in the CAA, which is the top FCS conference in the country, has JMU, Villanova, Stony Brook, which is in New York. But it had great competition, and that's what I want to do. I want to play against the best of the best for as long as I can, whether that's, to the NFL or that stops in college. So I want to be able to prove myself and to myself that I'm the best quarterback there is. And so I felt like William Mary was like the best place for me to do that with the offense they provided, which is more pro-style offense that we run at Iona Prep. And so at William Mary, I'm probably going to say like finance and business, which they have a really good, business school and stuff like that. And so I just feel like their reputation will help me like in other parts of life, because when your school has a high reputation, it may help you get like better internships, or somebody may recognize that and be like, oh, that's a really good school. We should like give him a chance more than you give somebody who maybe went to a smaller school. And so like all those factors went into me picking William & Mary over some of the other schools that I had.
Good stuff. Kudos to you. Acknowledge the importance of networking, the importance of, academic pedigree. We're kidding ourselves if we don't say that we live in a world where all of those things matter. So for him to understand that this early in the game is a testament to the work that you and his mom have done in developing him into the dynamic young man that he is. So Darius, in conclusion, I always like to give athletes an opportunity to pass on words of wisdom, encouragement. As a member of the New York City football community, having come through the ranks and, on your way off to do some very powerful things, what do you say to the next up guy who's, trying to build his house, create his profile and build his stature as a football player in this arena? What do you tell him to do?
Yeah, I'd say two things that personally help me the most. One is confidence, because when you're confident in your ability, you can play without hesitation. There'll be no nervousness. There'll be no, hiccups in what you do, because when you're confident, there's no need to do any of those things. So that comes with preparing. That comes with hard work. And that just comes with repetitions and repeating everything you do in practice continuously until the point where you can do it, second nature. And when you have that confidence, you can get the highlights you want. You don't have to force yourself to, make that big play. You just make that big play, and you can do that stuff second nature. And then I say, what I mean by not limiting yourself, which is the second thing. So like, let's say you want to run for 1,000 yards. That should be the floor, not the ceiling. Like, you shouldn't just limit yourself when you get to 900 yards. Like, oh, there's 3 more games left. I only need 100 more yards. At that point, you need to be, oh, how much farther can I go up? And like, what's the state record? What's like the record for the the whole country? Don't limit yourself to what you think you can do. You have to like surpass that so you can, go above and beyond where everybody else is, because that's what everybody else is doing. They're setting goals and they're just trying to meet those goals. You have to, go above those goals. So like me personally, my dad asks me before every season, what are your goals? I personally, like, I have like, 2,000 yards passing, but I personally don't like to set goals like that because, I feel like it limits me and makes me mentally become more satisfied with where I'm at. But, that's not what you want as an athlete. You want to always keep getting better. So right now, I think, I'm 28 for 32 in 2 games. If I just went out into the game, like, I want to complete 65% of my passes instead of what I think that's like 85%. Maybe I wouldn't be at that high of a level. I would have got complacent with, I have 7 completions right now in the game. I can get an incompletion. You should want to complete every pass, and you should take every incompletion or every drop or every, fumble or every bad run, like, personally. And you should want to, like, do really well with every rep you get, because you don't know when you're going to get another one. If you get one bad incompletion or you throw a pick, the coach might not give you another opportunity. You really don't know. So I just feel like you have to take advantage of every opportunity. Don't limit yourself and just, surpass what you think you can do.
Listen, man, that was a loaded, profound answer, a great answer. Ed, again, kudos to you and the missus. You guys have really built the package.
All right, that was a real good interview. Really good interview. I'd like to give a shout out to Coach Ed and Darius for coming through. Dropped a lot of gems right there, man. A lot of gems. I hope people are really picking up what he just threw down.
To all you youth guys out there, you see a picture of a guy throwing the football around 8 or 9 years old. Don't ever believe that those reps don't count. Rome wasn't built in a day. Keep building your house. We had so much good information. I think we're going to come back and do a part 2. A lot of good information about the recruitment process and, the decision of picking a high school. So kudos to Darius and Coach Ed for coming on. We appreciate you, and you'll get a little bit more of them next week.
Definitely. We appreciate everybody who comes on the show, everybody who watches us, everyone who shows support. Show us support by sharing, following us on all of our platforms, and just keeping up. You can find us at BCOM TV on YouTube, and all of the Off the Grid channels all of the Off the Grid episodes from 1 through 11 are up there now. So,
yes, check us out.
The weather's changing. We might have to go outside.
Yes.
Get some film and all that. Stay tuned and be able to reach us on Instagram at odg.football. You can find us on Facebook at the grid on Facebook, and our Gmail is off.dagrid20@gmail.com. So feel free to send us anything that you guys have, send us any feedback, and keep tuning into all the new episodes.
Solid.
The game, we wasn't from the same hood. The ball kept us off the block, had to try to remain good. Started from the bottom, so we off the grid. Trying to make it to the top, so we live off the grid. Had dreams of making teams, I was just a kid. Oh, we off the grid? Yeah, we off the grid.